Many, many years ago, maybe 50 or so, I used to have fun taking pieces of wire and making little functional objects. Just like a craft. I was developing a craft of bending wires and making hooks and all kinds of practical functional things. And from there it evolved into doing things like this, where it became an art form. I don't know where the transition was. It just sort of happened. I think that one time I said, well, gee, why don't I take one of these and see if I can make a human form? And it worked. And wow, that's what started. And I started evolving and developing, and I did all kinds of pieces here. I don't know if you're seeing this very well, but this one right here, believe it or not, is 50 years old, maybe more. I did this in New York City before I came to Michigan, and I came here in '58, so it's over 50 years old, the little one right here. You can do a lot of editing.
You're doing fine.
This was great. I looked at that, I said, damn, and this isn't a wire hanger. This was just wire, and it was soldered and moved so that I could move it, and I stuck it in there. Now I put this here next to this one here because this is over 50 years old, and this one's maybe 4 or 5 months old. Okay. And one of my favorite pieces here is this abstract form. It's a feminine. How do I say this? Every art form is abstract. Like they say in that famous poem, I can write a poem, but only God can make a tree. And so all art, it doesn't matter what form it takes, is abstract. Now it either becomes objective or non-objective, okay? And these are objective abstract, but even, how do you say it, more abstract? Okay, here's one of my favorite little pieces here. I just look at this and I say, my God, that's gorgeous. And this has been borrowed a number of times by other people so they can show it around. You know, I just really love that piece. Here are 3 little girls, or ladies. I call them the 3 sisters. And they're just sitting around yakking on the beach or something. Faith, hope, and charity, if you want to call them that. Here's a mama. And she's bending over, and she's looking at her baby at her feet. And this one I just did a couple of days ago, and it's too low down here in order to be able to see it. But if you look carefully, you'll see that it's a woman with her arm around a child, holding it and then looking at it, and it's very Madonna-like. Okay. So anyhow, that's with these. Now, there are maybe another 100 pieces or so over there. Yeah, this is one of my favorite pieces. And by the way, it was very, very hard to do physically, to bend it, you know. Okay. Okay. There's much more to show. These are just some. And it's all behind me. And maybe 100 pieces there and so on. So I'll go through them quickly and I'll try to describe them. These are all just ladies sitting around and discussing, talking, or bathing, maybe on the phone or something like that. Here is one which is very, very Egyptian-like, and she is holding the princely instruments. I forgot what they're called. Okay. And this one here reminds me of a painting by Picasso. I'm not quite sure what the name was. Let's see, Absinthe Drinker or something like that. Okay. Now I'll put those away, and you've seen these already? Okay. All right, now that goes in there. Now, that's okay. I have another bunch here. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay. These are, okay, these are creatures. Some of them seem to have a human quality, but if you look at them, each one of them is entirely different and weird and fun. Maybe it might, something you might find on the comic strip. And they're critters. I have no name for them. I just do them. And it's interesting about them is that if you see them as they are right now, you'll see in a moment that they become different simply by changing the position. Okay? That's all, really. They become entirely different, and they still work. I have fun with these. I just like to look at them and just in there. Fortunately, I don't dream about them because that would be kind of weird. But they're fun. It's such a delight to make these things. And I'll tell you, I've been to parties and affairs where people come up and they're always handing me wire hangers and say, make me something, make me something. As a matter of fact, I've even been paid to do these occasionally, but I don't like to do that. And no matter what I've done, I've never been able to do anything twice. Nothing. I can't recopy it, you know. I'm going to take these back and get another load. Okay. It's so many. Here we go. Okay. I'm so glad I set this up. Let me see. Yeah, I'll take one of these in there. Okay. Wow. Wow, okay. Here's another set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 more. And again, okay, I gotta move over here. Oh boy, they're fun. This is one of the first things that I did, an animalistic kind of thing, and it's a mouse. I really have fun. I've always enjoyed that, and I sort of, you know, it's sort of like a pet, you know, like a little kid has a little doll I hold on to. This is my little pet, the mouse there, okay.
Worked for Walt Disney.
Huh?
Worked for Walt Disney.
Oh, sure, you know. And then I have twins. There's 2 girls on a swing. And they're singing away. And here's another, of course, abstract. 2 mice, twins. And then we have these horrid creatures there. It's going to get you. It's more like a fly. There's all kinds of ways of looking at it. Okay, can you seeing that pretty good?
Yeah, can you turn it for me?
And there it is again. And there it is again. And it's a bug. And a lot of these are bugs. Fortunately, they're very small. One there. Here's a funny little person. Here's another funny little person. And this one is even a funnier person. All I can do is show them off. I really can't talk about them too much because each one was done individually at different times. I don't even know when. But they were a lot of fun, and I've collected them. Yeah, look at this one here. This is really weird, really weird, really weird. Okay. Okay, I get back here,
Yep.
see what I have to say about these. I spray painted most of them, not all of them, but most of them, and sometimes I use color. There's my little yellow person here, and this looks like a guy who's racing inside of a racing car or something, really going fast. I like this little guy here, a little red one there. Okay, this one here, this one here. And if you notice, he's looking that way, okay? But then what's interesting about this one, and a lot of them, is that all you have to do is turn it, and now he's looking that way. Can you see the difference? It doesn't matter how you look at it. The back is the front, and the front is the back. Okay. See, he's the same thing. He's looking that way, right? Okay. We done with these?
Yep.
Okay, I'll get some more. These, I don't know how or why, because when I do any of them, I'm with that one piece at the moment. I have no idea what's going to happen next. These seem to be a lot more sophisticated than the others. They're softer, they're more feminine. Wow. Yeah, they're very positive and so on. Okay. Look at the movement out there. That's just the shaping and the movements. All of these matronly. Look at that. Yes, sometimes they're a little bit abstract like that one there, but at the same time, it's still a moving piece. It has a lot of movement around it. Okay? And a moving piece in that it's also soft, not garish, not scary, not hard. They're just, wow. Okay. And I enjoy these. These are nice to have around. Look at this one right here. It's, wow, I just, little ballet movement, or the graciousness, that's what it is. It's the word graciousness is involved in some of these pieces, you know. Look at those two right there, right there. Wow. You're gonna laugh. This one's very funny. Okay. Look at that. Wow. Okay. Any more? Okay. Wow. What did I say? Weird. It's so much fun. Look at that guy. He's got little tiny hands there. Okay. And here he is again. I don't know where he's going. He's looking that way. Okay. There you go. Okay. This was not easy because it's a very, very thick wire hanger, the kind that's used for drapery and heavy things and so on. But wow, it was not easy, but it was like a nice piece. I have no idea where that came from. I think it's just great. Wow. Okay, you've seen enough of those. Beep. Hello. Littles. How do? Where are they? Oh. How do you do? Hello. 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 Oh, okay. I'll take my position back here. And nothing to say except that these are more of those abstract forms, a little bigger than some of them. And look at that. And you turn it around, it becomes something else. This one is here like that. they become something else. And here you go. Okay. Wow. Well, that's enough. Thank you. By the way, I've had probably literally hundreds of people look at this stuff and they say, oh heck, it's only a wire, anybody can do it. And I give them a wire hanger. I said, go ahead. And they give up in no time. There are certain principles involved, and the first one is, the first principle involved. Am I on?
Yep.
Oh.
Keep talking. The first principle involved.
Oh, wait a minute. Is to understand that the first bend that you make is the most important one. When you picked up that hanger and you bend it, that becomes the most important bend, and it affects all other bends. The first one has to be perfect. Okay. Oh, there are a few more. Let me show you some of these up here too, okay? I saved these for last because they're the most sophisticated of all of the pieces. This one here, if you look at it closely, I call it the judge. And if you look at it, he's looking down on you and he's making a judgment. And you better be afraid. Okay.
Would you turn him for me?
Mm-hmm.
Rotate.
There you go. Okay. And this one here is very sad. Someone feeling terribly sad and in tears. This is just another nice one. I enjoyed that one here. These two, again, if you see, these wire hangers are very big, and they're ones used for delivering things like drapes and blankets and so on. And they're not easy to bend. And these two are, they're mated. They move. I can move them around like this in the same, hold the base in the same position. And they're very sophisticated. These remind me very much of a time back in the 20s and 30s, two gentlemen just standing around talking and relating it to each other. And they move like that. Okay. And then they stop talking and walk away.
Could you move it this way? Because all I got is the door and I can't see it.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
There. Okay, there you go. Yeah, these are the, wow.
The adults.
Yeah, these are my my principal pieces. I'm showing these pieces here to point out that although I was doing all those wire pieces over there with wire hangers and so on, these were done with much heavier material. Sometimes they're all solid. And I also have some very large pieces, which I did with tubing and so on. And these now are an art form. And I look at something like this. Wow. And it's been years and years ago that I did this. And I look at it now, it's, my God, how did I do that? How did I get it so beautifully balanced? And it's all done by hand. There's no heat involved. Never use any heat in bending metal, for me anyhow. Okay. And it's just beautifully balanced. And here's another one here. It's a beautiful piece of sculpture. They're small. this small. They call this, unfortunately, I hate the term, I dislike the term, desktop sculpture. Well, I hope that nobody puts my sculpture on a desk. I want them to put it on a pedestal with lots of space around it. Okay, because they deserve it, and they deserve it. Oh yeah. Wow. These are 3/8 solid steel rod, all hand formed. Before I form them, I have to polish them as a straight line, because once they're shaped, I can't get in there to remove any distractions, nicks and whatever. So they're polished and then they're formed by hand, no heat. I can't bend this anymore. Once it reaches that stage, I can't do this anymore. It's finished. And as it lays around, there's a word called work hardened. It just gets harder and harder and harder. Okay, I think they're just absolutely beautiful shapes and forms. And I don't know how to say this, but this is all a process of creating. It's not making. I have no idea what I'm doing until after it's finished. And most of the time, if it's a really beautiful piece, when it's finished, I look at it and I stand in awe and I said, wow, where on earth did that come from? And that's the greatest feeling in the world, because then I know that in a sense I created, but I was just the instrument. And I think most artists who are really creative artists understand that. We're just instruments. We do this stuff and we make it and we stand back and wow, being creative, it comes with a certain kind of feeling. And it's like being a drug addict. It becomes part of your life to do this on and on and on. And when it's not working, you suffer. You're in pain and you're worried that it won't come back, but it always does. I want to show these because they're, again, they're moving pieces. This is a relationship of forms, okay? And again, they move. Okay. And I can take them apart and do all kinds of movement and so on. And you play with them until you arrive at some particular movement. And every now and then I'll add something that makes it a little bit more, how do I say?
Stimulating. Stimulating.
Yeah, it just, for some reason or other, it's not part of it, but it adds to it and makes it more alive. It's like this one here. This is copper tubing and it's not finished yet. It's got to be polished and everything else. Okay, and then I have these two pieces which are done separately, and these were done some to work with each other, but they work beautifully, I think, as a trio like that here. You can move them around in many different ways. Okay, now I'm going to show you this stuff. Woo-hoo-hoo! Okay. I can only show 2 or 3 at a time. Where's a nice big one here? Okay. Oh, I know, a tall one. Tall one. Okay.
Shorter leg.
Hmm?
Shorter leg.
Oh. Yeah, I'll find it. I'll find it. Yeah, that's what happens, you see.
Okay.
They won't fall off by themselves like that, but if we shake it, I'll get it. If we shake it. Okay. Well, here we go. A whole new concept. This is called perfect balance. I can describe how I arrive at balance, but I prefer not to because it's giving away a big secret. But I can take anything, and arrive at a balance so that it does what this is doing here. These pieces, they stand and they move. Wow. Here, there's something as simple as that there. Okay. There you go. There you go. There you go. I don't want to talk too much about it. I'd rather you saw these and just have your mouth agape in awe and said, wow, how's that done? I'm not going to tell you. But I'll show you some more. Go. Okay. The uniqueness about this is that it won't fall down. It can't fall down because of the way it's balanced, you see. Wow. Look at that. Yes, my challenge is to be able to balance anything. Wow. And I'll say this, I learned how to do this because I used to work on a ship in the merchant marine, and it has to do with balancing the ship in terms of cargo so that it's much smoother sailing. Okay, that's what this is all about. And they go on for a long, long time. Sometimes I leave a room, I hit one and I leave a room, come back later and it's still just barely moving. And it's so graceful and it's just beautiful shape. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. Of course, if you shake it, it's going to come down. But if I were to make one like this, 20 feet or 30 feet across, the wind wouldn't knock it down, because the only way the wind can knock it down is by lifting it off this way, and it doesn't, the wind doesn't work that way, you know. But the other way is shake it. That'll make it come down. Okay. I just want to... Okay, and there it is, right behind you. This is the last one. I got it.
It's heavy.
Yes, it is.
Jim?
Yeah?
Do we have one over here? White door again. Thank you. Can't get the top of this, Jimmy.
I understand. Oh, this is high. Okay. There you go. And I'll give you another illustration. I'll take this and hold it in there. I'll bring it all the way down like that, see? And she won't come down. Okay. And of all of those that you see there, this is the first one that I did. And that's a stainless steel rod. I take commissions. I've always been very much interested in movement, and this is only part of the moving pieces that I do. Right now I'm in the process of mentally creating new forms, a new method of balancing things, and it might even have some industrial uses, I'm thinking. But we'll see. That's just another time, another story. Oh, I want to show these here. Okay, these little guys that you see here were cut out of thin material, and they are models for much bigger pieces that I designed and created. I might have one or two left around the house somewhere, but I did hundreds of these back in 30 years ago or so. And in order to do this and end up with a great big one all finished, what I had to do was make one like this, which is very flexible material, and I would cut it out. Sometimes I do a drawing first and then do this. And if I liked it, and I said, yes, I'd like to make that big, I would open it up, I'd take a picture of it, then I would open up flat. And I would put it on a piece of paper and trace it. Okay. And once I traced it, I could increase the tracing to any size that I want. And when I got it to the size that I want, sometimes it was pretty large, okay, I would take it to the steel yard, Copper and Brass and some of these other companies, and have them cut a piece for me. Then I'd bring them back and I'd start shaping it according to this. And that's very simplistic, because I got news for you. Polishing, cleaning, again, polishing, cleaning before you start shaping it, and then doing the edges and forming it. God, it was difficult, but at the same time, what a great exercise. It always felt good to do this. My body felt wonderful to all of this coming out of this. Anyhow, they happened to be there, so I thought I'd show them, you know. It's just one more. You don't want these on the camera. All right, you're going to edit it anyhow.
Yep.
Did you see it? There's a female, and there's a male. You got it? And guess what? You know, look at that. It perfectly made it. Wow. Hmm? Yeah, but if you look at it closer, you think about it in terms of a spiritual concept, it's one, not two.
Could you move it over, Jim?
Hmm?
Jim, put it over this pedestal.
Sure. You want them separate? There you go, just separate. Yeah.
They're white and the door's white.
Hmm?
They're white and the door's white.
I got it.
Okay.
Okay. Any more? Well, yeah, I didn't even look in here. Oh, this is more stuff. Oh, God. Okay, let me get over here. Can you see these all okay?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Again, this is a series, okay, that I did. And not all of them, but a lot of them, you can change them around. You can move them around a little bit. Like this one right there, looks like that. Okay. And this one here, you can change it around. A lot of ways of looking at this stuff. Okay. Now, the camera's looking down on here, and okay, it's unfortunate because it'd be so much greater if I could hold these way up here, and then you can see them this tall. Let me give you an example. Imagine this. See how much bigger, when you look up at something, it always seems bigger. When you look at something below your eye level, it seems smaller. There's some kind of a psychological effect in there. I think it's an intimidation. Every time I've had work in a gallery, an art career, I said, no, please raise them as high as possible. Because when you look down on it, look how small that is. But when you look up at it like that, I said, what a difference it makes. It becomes to life. You know, wow. Okay. Wow, isn't it great? What we're looking at here is jewelry. A very unique method of creating beautiful shapes and forms, not with the brush, only with all the silver looking stuff here. You can't, I don't know if you can see that there, but you can't create this in any other way except in the way that I have developed. You can't get these shapes, you can't get these forms, you can't get these wonderful textures, and I don't know if you can really see them on the camera in there, but if you come up close you can see all these different textures, okay? And I'll put this down, I'll show you some more. Okay, look at this. Here's a belt buckle. Look at the textures on there. Okay. And that belt buckle goes with this bracelet. Can you see the bracelet?
Yeah.
Okay. And there's another belt buckle. Okay, and I've done many belt buckles. People are always asking me for them. The thing about this is that because it's aluminum, people will look at it. It's like with the wire hangers. Oh, it's just a wire hanger. Well, it's just aluminum. And so is a canvas with paint on it, worth $120 million. Okay. Because this cannot be done in any other method except the way I developed. And I'll just say this, for those who want to try it. You get a piece of aluminum, 6061 T6 aluminum, which is the softest one, and get a bowl of water, some long nose pliers, and the welding torch. And then you start heating it up. And when you heat it up, the unique thing about aluminum is that when you heat aluminum, there is no color change. And you have to be very, very careful, because if you wait too long, instead of getting what you want, it'll plop off. And that's the main secret about working with this. It's when to know, when to stop. Good grief, how am I going to explain all of this? What's wonderful about it is that I said before, you can get all these shapes, all these different textures, all these different forms. Here's an earring, okay. In this material. Of course aluminum is cheap, but you can take a mold of this and cast it in silver or in gold, anything else you want. But it cannot be done originally in any other metal except aluminum.
Oh, you don't want it too much.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Just let it dry.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Whoa. Here we go. Imagine having this great big piece of metal and you're heating it and you want this design. Well, in order to get design, you have to heat it and create a little bubble or a drip and let it follow you until it stops where you want to. Then you have to do the same thing here and here and here and all the way around. In order to get this circular thing here, this whole thing is molten. Everything in here is melted. And you have this torch with high pressure. And once you get it in the molten stage, then you start going around and around and around and around. And as you go around and around, you lift away and you lift away until, boom, it stops. And it sets in whatever shape you left it, okay? These here textures here are done again with the torch coming in and out. And this was extremely difficult to do. I cut away pieces. It was a lot bigger than this at one time. I cut away pieces, but I just wanted to illustrate that, okay? Okay, I can say this, that none of this is cast. It's all done the hard way, the long way. No casting whatsoever. And that includes all of these bronze pieces that you see here. All of these are done by cutting and shaping, forming. Imagine this. Most people say, God, where'd you cast that? No, I did that with tools and die grinders and cutting and polishing it. Okay? And I did a great many of these, and they were an awful lot of fun. I don't have many left, because, you know, but I've always kept this as a reminder. I want to keep it as a body of work. Maybe someday someone, maybe Alcoa Aluminum, I'll send it to them and they can show it. They have a traveling show of aluminum artifacts.